Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Press Play Streaming Studios. I'm your host. My name is Alan, and we are on Movie Chat. Tonight, we're going to take on a pretty heavy subject, but we're going to try to keep it as fun as possible. As you know, we have a tendency to stray a lot from our normal conversations, but that's okay because we like to keep it very open. I'd like to take a moment to remind you if you enjoyed the bumper music there on the start, that was written and performed by Mr. Adam McLean. And down in the comment section below, you can actually find links to his music. He would really appreciate it if you could give it a listen and just let him know what you think. So anyway, so for tonight, we're going to talk about an interesting topic. I heard this weekend someone coined the term cultural vandalism. And that made me really think about what that could mean and what it might mean to the future of our favorite franchises. And as we know, there's plenty of those franchises out there that have kind of went a little astray in as far as their loyal fan base is concerned. Sometimes they're just trying to reach new people, which is understandable. Other times they're trying to, what feels like to fans anyway, do away with their favorite characters and so forth. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about that a little bit and share our points of view on it and where it's good and where it may not be. And we have a couple of really nice guests that are coming in to join us tonight. And you've met him here before from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. I said that time without tripping. Say hello to Ro.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, Ro. How are you tonight, sir?
Fantastic. Had a little distraction. My wife is out of town, and I have medication duties for our cats, so that kind of distracted me a little bit. Everything's good, though.
Okay, well, good. Here. Good. I'm glad to have you. Just so you know, I did have time today. And I listened to it twice. I listened to it once while working. You know, you can't always gather everything up, but also on the way home. The latest podcast with the for the Joker, fantastic episode, my friend. Very, very well done. Very enjoyable. I really hope that anyone who happens to come in either tonight on the chat or in the replays in the future and hear this, go check it out. Where can they find that?
Well, thank you very much, my friend. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with that one, not only with our special guest Josh, Sith Care Bear, and Chantal, obviously, my wonderful co-host, but just putting it together. You know, putting it together is a lot of fun too because it's I find some audio drops and go to YouTube and grab them and drop them in sporadically. So it's kind of like it's a lot of fun for me to put those together. So I'm glad. I was just making a post right now. It's our numbers are really great when we release our stuff on Thursdays, and the Joker episode, everybody seems to really enjoy it. So I'm really happy that is happening, and we're all over the place. Wherever you get your other favorite podcasts, we're there too. So,
and it's Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast.
It's actually Scarif Podcast is officially the name, but we call it the Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast because Brad likes alliteration. Scarif Scuttlebutt. You know how that
well,
is.
I will say this, that when I listen to it, at work, I listen to it through Google Play, and I find it through Scarif Scuttlebutt.
Okay, that's good.
So,
as long as you find it.
Yeah,
as long as you
found it and been enjoying the back episodes. But yeah, today was that was a fun one. I was sitting there. I find myself sitting there while I'm working and talking back to you, going, "But what about this?"
Yeah,
I mean, that's just So when you get that kind of engagement, that's
absolutely,
that's always a good thing.
I do that all across the board. I listen to a lot of our our friends on the Red 5 Network and some of the other podcasts that we listen to and enjoy. And I always find myself talking back to the speaker or driving and saying, "Oh, what are you talking about?" It's really great.
It is fun. It is. So we have a new guest tonight, Ro, to the Scarif Scuttlebutt Press Play Streaming Studios. See, he's and I'm not part of the Red 5 Network, but maybe someday if I can actually prove myself. Anyway, let's welcome Miss Amanda.
Hi there, guys.
Hey,
hi, Amanda. How are you tonight?
Doing good.
Excellent. Now, you have on your Twitter account, you
Hmm.
have Jedi Caligula 89.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
What's the other handle?
Yeah, it's at Galaxy Queers. We
O-
also have a monthly podcast we do,
Okay.
monthly live stream show, and we have one coming up on Saturday. Actually, we're going to be talking about Knights of the Old Republic. Actually,
Oh, that
so
sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah, I'm
Nice.
really looking forward to that one. So,
Yes.
Can
I
I
like.
quickly
Go.
say a heartfelt hello to Amanda. Amanda has been one of our followers for the longest time. She was a
yep.
patron on the show. We
Which I
love
will be
Amanda.
again. Which I
Oh,
will
don't
be
worry
again.
about it. You are a patron for life no matter what. But thank you so much for
Yep.
your ongoing support. It means a lot to
Of
us.
course. I actually have to listen to the Joker episode tonight.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
so
I'm telling you, I wasn't blowing smoke. I really enjoyed it. I
well,
really did.
the Joker is such a fantastic villain. I can't wait
yeah.
Yeah.
to hear it. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I loved also the fact that you go by the Amandalorian.
yes, yes. I came up with it, and I was just like, this is the name. Yeah. So,
It's great. So if anyone noticed on the intro or under my special guest tab, it had the Scarab
mhm.
podcast, but it also had the Amandalorian.
Well, yes,
So
I love it.
and Rebel Roses jumped in real early. Not sure if she was going to be in tonight, but she wanted to leave a comment that she was first, so she's the first to leave a comment tonight. And to have fun with our Star Wars family. So
All right.
she's a sweetheart. She's a lot of fun. She started doing I think it's weekly, I think, but one of her casts, she was doing a what if for Star Wars.
Yes,
Man, that
I
was
have
fun.
seen.
That was
I have
fun.
seen one of them, which was oh, what was the one last week? What was the subject for last week? I'm trying to remember.
She had she kind of went
Yeah,
through
so much has been going on. I've just been forgetting. I did watch
Well-
one of her episodes of um the Sith Emperor's Children in Old Republic. So
Well, that would be kind of cool.
yeah.
That'd be really cool.
So
All right. So, as you can tell, if you're listening to this in the podcast in the future, that we are all diehard Star Wars fans. I grew up with it, and this is going to lead us into probably our first topic.
Yeah.
You have your shot glass ready, Ro?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, me too.
get ready, Ro. Get ready.
Get ready. We're talking tonight again. Our topic is cultural vandalism and Hollywood's propensity to take a very established intellectual properties, franchises, if you will, and try to insert their agenda to them. And the agenda could be something as subtle as bringing in new characters to taking those characters and gender or race swapping them, or just taking someone that we grew up with and loved and totally mistreating them to the point that it makes the diehard fans, the longtime fans, very angry. And I don't know that a lot of the new fans realize how hurtful that was to us, especially when we saw what happened in The Last Jedi.
There he goes.
So, bro, we don't have to talk about that movie specifically, but give me your overall feeling on the cultural vandalism that Hollywood has been doing and what it does to us as fans.
It's an interesting phrase, cultural vandalism.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It really made me think a lot.
Sure.
It's definitely something I think that will be discussed probably further in like studies of art, especially in film, video games, anything. I think it's something definitely that will be in a subject in textbooks someday, probably.
I would love to hop into my my DeLorean and go 40 years in the future and see where this dialogue ends up, because it's really interesting. And Alan, you mentioned younger fans or new fans of these franchises that don't I guess don't get why older fans like us are like ticked off.
Yeah.
And I guess I also don't want to be pigeonholed as an old fan who still lives in the basement and cries about Luke Skywalker, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Because
exactly, yeah,
we know a few of them, and I don't want to
sure
be
do.
I don't want to be pigeonholed as one of them. You know, the Scared podcast, obviously, we love to talk about what our feelings are, what our opinions are. But we do it in kind of a, we hope to think that we do it in a civil way without insulting. And
and I agree.
We understand people love what they love, and that's fine. But we also have opinions on things, and that is where the dialogue back and forth should come.
Yeah.
Without poking an eye out, without, stepping on toes,
Exactly.
as long as you're honest and respectful and accept, okay, well, I don't like XYZ, but he does. I'm not going to call him names because he likes it. But it's very interesting. It's we're not, one thing that I think that we like to say is we're not here to convince anybody of something.
Right.
We're just here to inform them of our opinion. I would never want anyone to tell me who to like, what to like, and how to like it. Right?
Exactly.
And I wouldn't want to do that to other people.
Agree.
And as long as we're on that same playing field, then, respectful dialogue can and will happen. So I guess that's our baseline. But
if I could interject just real quick,
sure.
Are you familiar with Star Wars Santa?
Star Wars Santa? No, that sounds kind of.
If you get a chance to check out some of his videos on YouTube.
Okay. Right.
Star Wars Santa, huh?
Star Wars Santa,
okay.
yes.
I gotta look this up. Yeah. On YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Great guy. Loves the Disney sequels.
Okay.
Loves them. Will have respectful conversations with people who don't.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And he has made me see new points that I've never seen before. I still don't agree with him.
Okay.
But I see why he feels the way he does. And I think that's where oh boy, we're getting ready to go into a rabbit hole I wasn't expecting to really fall into. And I think that's where a lot of the toxic, I'm using this, the big air quotes here, fandom comes from, is the you don't agree with me, you're wrong, and then all the expletives come out. But on the other side, you don't agree with us, so you're an ist of some sort. Those are the extremes, and unfortunately, the squeaky wheel does get the grease. And all of us that are sitting here in the middle going, you know what? It's a movie. It affected my life in a profound way. But if you don't feel the same way I do, that doesn't make you less of a person.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Zori has a really great point. She doesn't understand why the newest trend seems to be that you destroy the old to make way for the new.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So Amanda, give us your opinion.
Well, as I went to university for humanities, so we study all kinds of art and film. Like that was my main stuff. And the thing about film and art is that it's to be appreciated by everybody, and sometimes art can be controversial and get things talking, and oftentimes the best kind of art is one that gets a conversation going. And honestly, people disagree about art all the time. I mean, for example, look at Da Vinci's Last Supper. People still debate about the various positions of the 12 disciples and stuff. And that's the whole thing with film. Film is an art form. And thus, you're going to have discussions. You're going to disagree. But the whole thing is appreciating the art together and going, I like this, this, and this. But, there's things that I don't like. And that's what opens to discussion. This whole I hate you thing and you're an idiot, Nobody says that about Da Vinci when they make a different decision on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I look at it sometimes and say, why can't art just be art?
Exactly. Exactly.
why can't a film just be a film? So it was funny. I heard Rose say this today twice as I was listening to your podcast. You said, I didn't do a lot of research on this because I wanted it to be more, of an open communication type situation. And I did the same for this. I already knew something, I did a lot of thinking about the term and how it applies. But I really only read like one article and watched one video. But this one article had this statement that I'd like to share with you guys because I think it's fantastic. One of the arguments used by filmmakers today, and actors also, is that movies are only made for a certain targeted audience. But there's one problem with that. That argument is invalid. You cannot cut off a viewer and say this film is not for you. No matter what their race, age, mental state, economic status, sexuality, religious beliefs, gender, the filmmaker cannot pick and choose who looks at or absorbs or reviews their films.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with, or the thing with that is that films can be criticized by any viewer. That's just how critiques work.
Yep.
So when you hear, Kevin Smith out there talking about how horrible the fan base is because they didn't accept his version of the new He-Man series, what did he expect?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason the fans got so upset with that is not that he changed the He-Man series. It's that he told them he was not going to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And
bait and switch?
Yeah, a lot of bait and switch. I thought we got bait and switched with Luke in The Last Jedi. But man, I mean, he's literally saying absolutely, positively, this is not going to happen. And it did. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what the fans were actually upset about. Had he went up front and said, you know what? Yes, He-Man is a central character. We're going to develop his Tila, and then we're going to bring him back in the second season or whatever the case may be. They would have went, oh, okay, that sounds like a cool concept. But instead, they went in blind thinking that their hero was going to be there, just as we did in The Last Jedi. And then they wonder why we get upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is, the internet, I think, has spoiled a lot of things, and I'll get back to your statement in a bit. You've got news that is coming out probably years before the actual movie is released about casting, about story plots or leaks and things like that, and it doesn't give your mind an opportunity to just chillax, go to the movie theater and watch the movie and go ooh and ah.
Right.
Your brain is already like, okay, it's announced, The Force Awakens. It's got X, Y, and Z actors and Mark Hamill. Oh, wait a minute. Our heroes are back. That's what your brain is thinking.
Right.
And then you go and see it, and then, what happens. Mm-hmm. So, you've got casting news that gives you like all the actors that are going on there. Your brain starts filling in, well, this guy's going to play this guy and this guy's going to play that guy. And oh my God, that story's going to be awesome if these two characters meet. So by the time you get to the theater, there's no surprises anymore. Plus, the way that they're cutting trailers nowadays, why even go see a movie? It gives you everything.
It gives you the whole plot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then when you get to the movie, of course you're pissed off.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So Amanda, what do you think about the term fan service?
Well, it's really interesting because, like, if you go back in time to, like, films back in, like, the 30s and 40s, they weren't really geared to a certain fan base because there wasn't that many movies being made. So, you just got a movie and everybody went and saw it, regardless of age, religion, whatever. Everybody went and saw, like, the Maltese Falcon, Mm-hmm. So, like, and today it's the same thing. People go and see whatever movie looks interesting. Like, I think the films that have a deep set of a certain type of genre is probably like what we call artsy fartsy films, which are the really
Yeah.
artistic films, where you're only getting a certain audience seeing those films.
Right.
But a movie like Star Wars, you're getting everybody to that thing. Casual
And
fans,
it should be universal.
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's everybody's seeing that film compared to like the best picture winner at the Oscars. So
Right. So you mentioned artsy fartsy films, and that would be an exception to the rule. We have to understand.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, we have to understand that the movie business is a business.
It is a business.
They are.
It is.
They are there to create and generate interest for getting as many people to dish out money to buy a ticket and go see that movie at least once.
Yep.
Tell their friends to go back and see it more, because that is a business. Now the artsy fartsy ones, that's a different thing.
The artsy fartsy films are there to get the big awards. So the Oscars, the Golden Globes,
or to evoke, now that is really, that is really kind of like an art form when it comes to filmmaking. And arguably, you can't say like a Star Wars or a Transformers is an art form, although it is
an art form,
right?
But it's not the main. The main thing for making a Star Wars movie is for Disney, for example, making the big bucks,
right?
Versus
when it comes to the term, Alan, that you mentioned fan service, I'm all for fan service. I love seeing familiar things in Star Wars. I love seeing things that call back to things that I love. That's why I go to a Star Wars, to see things that are familiar to me, to see things that I like. Not to say that, I'm not afraid to experiment, because, in order for Star Wars, I guess, to live, I have to keep an eye out on my cat, because
that's fine. Do your thing.
Yeah.
In here, there's no way he's crawling behind Darth Vader. I'll kick his ass.
Oh, I love this comment. Zori says, "Oh, what a cutie." Zori says,
"Say hi, Idris.
Love feeling nostalgic. It brings back happy memories." And you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So I because
thing about
go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about films, especially like in Star Wars, you like the nostalgia, but you also don't mind little trickles of new ideas, because that keeps it new and interesting. But you also want the familiar. So like a mix of both is what makes Star Wars the best.
Yeah.
When you mix both. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at I don't know that Amanda has ever heard my true definition of what OG means. OG
no, I have not.
Because you know how they talk about all the OG, right? The OG trilogy.
Yeah.
The OG is the old guys.
Okay, gotcha.
So Ro and I are the old guys,
right?
Okay.
And since I'm from Chicago, it means a little different. It's original gangsters.
Okay.
So I always call it say it's the old guys, right? So us old guys, and this is to your point. If you look at Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire, and Rebel, and Return, right? Put those three together back to back. You see that progression of familiar with new
ideas, yes.
Familiar with new, and then they take all that and bring it in, and it's all familiar with new added in.
Yes.
And that's how they grew that into one of the, if not the most powerful movie franchise in history.
Yeah.
Zori says she feels like The Mandalorian is a great mix of old and new. I agree. That's why
it
works.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
That's why it works.
I also think Star Wars Rebels, I'm a huge Rebels fan, and I think that has a mix of familiar and new as well.
Yes, and when they started to mix in, which I think it was the beginning of either the end of the first season or beginning of the second season, when they started to bring the old into the new, that's when that show took off.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think that the KKs of the world understand that, which kills me, because she worked next to Spielberg. She worked next to Lucas, and she was a part of Indiana Jones, which is the biggest franchise in history. Why didn't she see, not the biggest, one of the biggest, why didn't she see that, you know what, hey, if we pay homage, true homage to the OGs and still build this new character off and pass the torch properly, they would have made so much money.
So much more money, because
So much more money,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
They did make a ton of money.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they
there's
made most of it on the first movie.
They did,
Yeah,
let's be
yeah.
honest. Oh, and
Being honest, they
merchandising.
made most of that on the first movie in merchandising.
Merchandising is probably where they made the most.
But here's my question for you. You walk into a store today and you see all the shelves full of
pegs.
of the new stuff, right?
Yeah,
No
you do, yeah.
No one's buying it
No,
because they didn't set their characters up.
no.
You know, I didn't want to fall down that hole, but I mean it's it's a big one and it's hard. It's hard when you're
Sequel
talking about
trilogy. The sequel trilogy is a big hole that you can just dive right into. Ugh.
You know, I
Yeah.
do want to say one thing about Kathleen Kennedy. You know, obviously she's tied to some of the greatest films that us geeks love.
Exactly, yeah.
But she's not, you know, she's not like a creative person. She's a mover and a shaker.
She has to deal with finances, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we've got you know, someone like Dave Filoni, who basically is the protege of George Lucas. You know, it's almost like George is Yoda and Dave Filoni is Luke Skywalker, you know, learning the ways of Star Wars. And obviously, you know, for all intents and purposes, Filoni has done it well. Him and Favreau have done it well with Mandalorian. Obviously, you know, countless seasons of Rebels and Clone Wars. You know, they're fan favorites. They're universally loved. You won't find, you know, a divisive bone in those properties the way that you have in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So for
and I think honestly, also it's because you can tell when you're watching them that those guys love Star Wars.
Yeah,
they do.
And that's not really a prerequisite, because Rogue one of Disney's Star Wars produced, you know, fan favorite. At the top, it's probably my number 2. The writer of Rogue One wasn't really a Star Wars fan either. Irving Kershner directed Empire Strikes Back, was not a fan of science fiction.
No.
It was all about the relationships, and I think that's key.
But they started with a good story.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Good.
Right.
You have to have a good story. Yeah.
The writing is what made them great, because it didn't matter if you were a fan of sci-fi or not. If you're reading this and you're buying the characters and you're buying the arc and you're invested, the rest of it just becomes fodder around the outside. Zori, the last statement, you know, is that she feels like KK was allowing the new characters to use the old characters as doormats to wipe their feet.
And that's a shame, because I've heard them say, we didn't know what to do with the old characters. Really?
Yeah, and it's like, how do you not know what to do with them? Like,
right.
I mean, these are
George is giving you a golden goose.
Exactly.
How do you mess that up?
Well, you know, I think you've heard me say this before, Amanda. My theory on a very simple way to have changed that whole mess would have been for Rey to hand Luke that lightsaber, for him to look at it with the respect in his eye, and look at her and go, "I've been expecting you."
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
In my time here, I have learned I no longer need this, and he hands it back to her.
Yeah, that would have been so cool.
Thing would have changed.
That would have been perfect.
Because then all
I would have loved to have seen Jedi Master Luke. You know, like I read a lot of Legends growing up, so I read about Jedi Master Luke. Yeah, but to have seen him visually would have been just spectacular.
But they didn't have any source material to go from.
Yeah, they didn't. But they had all those books.
No. All right, so So have we fallen down this well long enough? You and I should just wait a minute because we missed a couple in there, Ro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I just want to thank Zori for really chiming in. She's been great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great points. And everybody else in the chat. Come on. Hit it.
hit it. So I have a question for you, Zori. You can answer in the chat if you'd like. The last few weeks that you've been involved in the chat, you've always had some great insight and some great comments. Would you be interested in coming onto a show with us someday?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's an official invite there for you.
Yeah.
Public invite.
Okay.
And loving it.
And loving it. So then we had, the He-Man series.
Yes.
And what happened there, we touched on that a little bit about how and again, it's my own personal opinion, how we've, I think the fans feel like they were lied to, and that's the reason why there was such a big mess there.
And I wasn't a big He-Man fan growing up. I mean, I knew of the show and I watched it every so often, and I have the power. Woohoo! And
yeah, I was very same growing up as well.
Yeah. And I think I watched the first 2 episodes, and I didn't really find anything majorly wrong. I mean, obviously, spoilers, He-Man disappears at the end of the first episode, and I think that's where the strife comes from. But I was okay digging the story the way that it was presented. I didn't really find anything, Last Jedi Luke-ish at that point. And again, I'm not one of those guys that are afraid of strong women, strong characters. I just posted, we need a Captain Carter movie because she was amazing.
We need a Captain Carter movie. Yeah.
I haven't
that
seen
is,
it yet, so don't spoil it. That's a
tomorrow
thing.
Wait till you see it. Wait till you see it.
I don't know if you guys know this. Amanda, you may not, but Josh Irwin's in the chat. He's one of our. When you come on the on the show, by the way, Amanda, you are now considered a part of the Nerd Squad. So just know.
Awesome! So, I'm happy to be a part of it.
So when you're on Twitter, you have my permission. Hashtag Nerd Squad.
Awesome.
Josh Irwin is one of our Nerd Squad members. And he's asking, can I get in this chat right now because I have a different opinion about the sequel trilogy? Josh, you're driving. It's probably not a good idea to put you on. I like you, and I'd like for you to stick around and be safe. We're going to try to get away from Star Wars now because I think that horse has been beaten to death.
Yes.
No way. That father has been beaten to death.
There you go. There you go.
Tila felt out of character from how I remember her. I
don't
agree.
even remember her.
Neither do I.
Well, here's the thing. There was one summer leading into summer where a buddy of mine and I would, and in high school, right? Look who joined us.
Lucky, Mr.
There you go.
Hey there, Josh.
I picture, like the rainbow Care Bear, right?
Yeah.
With the glowing Sith eyes.
With the glowing Sith eyes.
That's how I expected him to show up last night.
And he didn't? He didn't, huh?
He didn't.
That's
Next time.
disappointing. No. Okay.
Yeah, so disappointed.
The Joker Part 2, he better have a little,
Yeah. Josh is another one of our members of our Nerd Squad. Absolutely. So anyway, we would come home from high school and watch He-Man probably every day for like 3 months, know. And no, we weren't coming home and doing anything weird or smoking anything weird or whatever. We'd come home and we'd watch that. Sometimes we'd stick around and watch She-Ra when it was done. It was just something that we kind of fell into. A friend of mine's little brother was Die Hard, and he had like all the toys and the action figures and everything that went along with it. Of course, we would sit around in a circle drinking. We weren't old enough to drink beer. And we'd pick his toy up and throw it at the other guys that say you've just been you've got the power or whatever the case may be. Zori watched He-Man every day. I love it. She-Ra too. There you go. And she had all the toys. I love it. So for me, it was the fact that there was zero. Okay, Zori, you can back me up on this or tell me I'm crazy. Either way it goes, I'll take it. there was no any femininity was wiped out of her
In the new one.
in the new one.
Well, let's back up a little bit because
I've seen some of the screenshots of her, and she's
Yeah.
got short hair. If I remember correctly, right?
yeah,
got short
but
hair?
we
Yeah.
have to kind of preface that by asking yourself, because I guess it's different. Are we talking like you say that any sign of femininity has been stripped away from her? I think that's kind of a gray statement because I mean I've seen women that look fantastic in short hair. There's one on screen right now.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? I mean, she looks stronger
Mm-hmm.
than the '80s character, which is fine.
Do you
Yep.
think though that could just be upgrading with the times kind of thing? I mean,
Okay,
the
so
female stereotypes have changed from the 80s, right, to today.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that
take a
could
look at
be
the comic books. I mean,
exactly.
everybody.
So I
drew
mean,
a
do you
woman-
think, Alan, that could be part of it?
It
Just
could
the
be,
changing of the times.
and also to play the other side of the same coin.
Yeah.
In that universe, you look at like He-Man on how big and buff he is.
Is he still big and buff?
He is. Okay.
Okay, so
But-
there
so-
hasn't been a change in that then. Okay.
So here's
in
the
changing
thing.
of the times, he should have a beer gut.
Yeah,
He
no
should.
doubt.
He should have a
No.
dad bod now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my point is though is
hmm
taking the same structure,
Yeah.
right? Then you
Mhm.
understand why she's built the way she is.
Yeah.
But to me, and this is another part of this conversation I wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
wanted to bring up with you two and get your all's opinion on.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're being hypersensitive because it's happened so much?
I mean, from an outside source, because I kind of watched He-Man, but not because it was after me. Because
Right.
I was born in '89, so it's after me. So yeah, I know.
I
But, you know-
graduated before you were born.
But it's like so from I'm like an outside source. So like to me, in a way, it can be the gradual development of the time and how things have changed. But in another aspect, it can also be like too much change, if you get what I'm saying, because it is an animated fictional universe.
Right. For me, I think what it is, honestly, I think a
Mhm.
lot of it's gut reaction because
Yeah.
we've seen so much appropriation, we've seen so much
So much, yeah.
cultural vandalism that even the smallest little detail is starting to get
Mhm.
on our nerves.
Yeah.
Does that
And that
does-
could be.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense, bro?
That does make sense.
It makes sense,
It's-
but it also makes it seem like everybody who opposes that change are oversensitive, and
Yes.
I happen to believe
Yes.
that there is a level of oversensitivity on the reaction of people saying, "Oh my God, that doesn't look like a woman."
Yeah.
Really? I mean, I know some women that actually look like that. Maybe short hair, shaved to the side.
Well, that's me,
Well,
Short hair.
but I'm
You know?
saying it's like it's oversensitivity. I mean, okay, all right. We grew up with wavy, curvy women bodies on comic book characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but
Because they were like that in the 90s when I was growing up.
yeah,
so.
I just feel that it's like I think people need to chill.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I really
I
do.
think
a
I think
lot
what
of
it is when to me it becomes a problem when it's like majorly changing the look. Like, for example, putting He-Man in a tuxedo and modern clothes, like that
Mhm.
that would
like turning She-Hulk into the Hulk and just
Yeah.
putting long hair on.
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if it's a major change,
Well, to me, okay, again, Zori, you can again, you can back me up on this or tell me I'm crazy. Watching the original episode
Mhm.
versus now, there's not a lot there that remain the same.
yeah.
So for me, I would like to at least see something that made me go, "Oh, okay, I know who that is." Right?
Yeah.
Just like when we watched
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, you know, I see Luke and I want to know who that is because that's who I grew up with.
I'm probably going to get be drunk in about 45 minutes.
But
if I keep this up.
I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try not to. It's actually kind of fun. So let's move away from this a little bit and let's talk about Captain Marvel. What do you guys think of that one?
The movie?
Yeah.
The movie, General, it's not my favorite Marvel movie.
Not at all.
It is, my favorite Marvel movie is always going to be, for right now, I don't know if it'll break, but Black Panther is, to me, the best Marvel film.
It's a great one.
Think it is it's just perfection. It really is. And like Captain Marvel, they were trying too hard with feminism empowerment.
That is exactly where I was going with this.
Which, me, a woman, I want to see kick-ass women, because I want to see that equal, equity, basically. But when it's overdone and trying too hard, that's when it loses the point.
I agree with you, Zori. I'm not a fan.
Does that make sense when it's trying too hard?
It does, and I'm going to back you up. I'm going to back you up on that real quick. Okay. She broke a guy's hand for flirting with her. Her dad yelled at her for having an accident on a go-kart. Her military trainer yelled at her for falling off of a rope, and her male counterpart told her she would never fly.
Yeah.
At every turn they took in that movie, they tried to me, you are powerful, let's hear you roar, at the expense of the story. So here's, in my opinion, an example of a movie that did it right. Have you guys seen the Ilona Holmes on Netflix?
Yes, it's fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about feminism. Well, you want to talk about feminism. It shows a woman being clever and doing things on her own without needing any male interference, if you get what I mean. Does that make sense? Like she's able to
and not only that, but she failed several times
and learned from it. Yeah, exactly.
Look, it's a strong female character.
It is the perfect, I think, example of feminism. And its overarching arc is about feminism too. It's about the right for women's votes in the 1800s in England. So
and it was just so well written and so well done. And it's funny how when you write a story that wants to do all those things without pounding you in the face with it, how successful and fun that can be for the audience.
Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you here, Zori. Stefan, who's my normal co-host, literally we're sitting in the theater and he leaned over with Dad, I think she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life.
Gal Gadot is incredible, and her role as Wonder Woman is just
fantastic. Feminist,
fantastic.
Badass. She
perfectly cast.
Perfectly.
Yes, perfectly.
Let's see what we got going here. I think it all comes down to the writing. The moments need to feel organic and not forced in order to keep people. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about writing. Like Captain Marvel, it just didn't have good writing. I don't think. I think it just,
It all comes down to good writing. So
it does.
Who
said that?
Who's this Scarif guy?
I can watch a 2-hour movie of Gal Gadot buttering bread.
Yes,
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I think I've told you this in the past. I kind of have a man crush on Kurt Russell, right?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
What about his son Wyatt, though?
Well, no. What I was going to say is, someone could make a movie with Kurt Russell sitting on a corner eating a bologna sandwich. And I'd be like, let's go watch Kurt Russell eat that sandwich. So now I'm thinking his co-host is Gal Gadot, who's going to be buttering that other sandwich.
There you go. Full feature film.
We're all set now.
Where are we going with this, Alan?
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, women characters can still have their emotions and feelings and be vulnerable and badass. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
agree.
Enola Holmes, prime example. She feels vulnerable in various situations in that film,
Yep.
and she can be badass in that film. So you see both
Absolutely.
sides.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Zori has a point.
Yes, she does. She does.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's the thing that I loved about it is that it was a very feminist point of view. The
Hmm.
writing was fantastic. The acting was great in it. And
Yes,
at no point did they go out of their way to say man bad, woman good.
exactly.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of
Well,
a thing
that
nowadays.
that
Yeah.
is the issue with feminism is feminism is good to a point, but when it goes to do you guys know what the scientific term is for hating men? Like
L
misogyny is for women, but do you remember what it is for men?
I don't.
no.
Okay. Well, there's a term, but if feminism goes too far, it can
Oh,
create
that's
into that, which is
right.
just as bad as
Sure.
misogyny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
mhm.
So, all right. So let's talk about a series that did it right.
Oh, a series that
Cobra
did it
Kai.
right. There you go. Cobra Kai. Let's talk about it.
I'm going to tell
That
you right now, and I'm going to say this one thing, and I'm going to let you have the floor, Ro. Why Lucasfilm? Why DC?
Oh yes.
Why Marvel can't look at the success of this little? It started on YouTube show
mhm.
and go,
Mhm.
why is it so popular? Because they did it right. What'd they do, Ro? Let's lay it out.
I'll give you one word: respect.
Mhm.
Respect. They took the old characters and didn't forget where they came from. They obviously are older now. They showed us
Yes.
a story of what they're doing now, and
Mhm.
their characters changed because they got older, they got families, they got married, etc., etc. Some of them kind of are still stuck back there,
Yeah.
but the overall arching theme here is that the creators, and obviously the creators are the actors that are in the show, Ralph Macchio and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but they have a love for the originals. They have the love for the characters that they played.
Now, is
So,
this based on the Karate Kid?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It is. Okay.
Yes.
it's
Okay.
basically a
100%.
continuation.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
And the thing that's beautiful about it is when you meet them as their older selves,
Yeah.
and and Ralph Macchio's he owns a car dealership, right?
Uh-huh.
And then someone asked him, why he got into it, and it flashed back to the original movie where Miyagi gave him the car and how much he fell in love with it.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it literally you believed that he was where he was in life and why.
Right.
Mhm.
It automatically tied you. They paid such respect to the old that it made you believe the new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that big of a fan of Karate Kid, and watching this series, and it took me a while to actually watch it. I didn't watch it when it was on YouTube. I watched it when it came on to Netflix because a lot
Yes,
of people
same
were
here.
talking about it. And one of the things that it made me want to do is go back and watch the originals because it was done so well. The flashbacks, you didn't really have to know the characters. They used the old movies to kind of bring you up to date and
Mhm.
relate what was going on with the characters now versus then.
Yeah.
It's done so well.
Yep.
Kudos to that
It's
team.
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids that come up, whether it's Danny's son or what have you, or daughter, I should say, or what have you,
Mhm.
you buy the characters and
Mhm.
their motivations, although different than their parents ever were, you can see the way they you could tell that this daughter was raised by Daniel San.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And so you buy into the proverbial handing of the torch
Right.
Yeah.
because so much respect is paid. And they'll do little callbacks or flashbacks to the original that take you by surprise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, whoa, I wouldn't have thought they would have put that little twist into it.
But see, that's a really great example of fan service done right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It sounds it.
Absolutely.
It sounds it. Yeah. It
Oh, you
sounds
should
it
watch it. You
because
should watch it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen the original Karate Kid. I don't even know how many times. So
Well, you know, I talk about my wife on my podcast a lot. She tells me to stop,
Mhm.
but I can't. She's not a big fan of watching television in general. She does, you know, she's
Mm-hmm.
not a big like horror movie fan or anything like that.
yeah.
She loves Cobra Kai.
Uh-huh.
Loves it because she's like, you know, same thing as me. And it's funny, Ro. I had to beg her basically. I'm like, come on, babe, let's watch this. And then she
Yeah.
pushed me off for a while. And I'm like, oh, come on, let's watch it. And she pushed me off for a while. At the end of the first show, she goes, "Is the second one out?" She
Yeah.
really, I mean, just bam, bought
Yeah,
into
Yeah.
it.
it was constant for me too.
And it's
I'm
on
like, oh my
Netflix,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
I've been
the third
I need
season
to
comes
watch
out
it then.
in December.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
it
next
comes
season
out.
comes out.
Okay, it comes out I think the same
Third.
month as The Witcher, I think. I think
Yeah.
Witcher season 2 is in December. I'm a huge Witcher fan, so that's when I get Netflix again.
So we agreed then. Enola Holmes and Cobra Kai both did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason I wanted to bring both of those up is because to show you as an audience who's out there,
Mhm.
Zori and everyone else who's in the group,
Yeah.
Josh, the Joshes, we're not against feminism. We're not against women's power. We're not, you know, it's the writing that makes it fun and believable.
Now, do you think there are people in the audience, you know, the fandom menace as it's called, that are toxic in those ways?
Well,
Oh.
that's the reason I said earlier that we on this channel, well, let me put it this way. Someone came on my channel right now and started spouting whatever.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
go, right? I wish that we could have a similar conversation that we're having tonight with like ABJ and he would be on our side, but like Star Wars Santa and
Mhm.
Darth Chaco, who also loves, you know, so we can have open debate and show people, you know what,
Mhm.
we're not all like that
Exactly.
on either side. On either
Exactly.
There's twat waffles on every side, so
There is. There really is.
side. Wait a minute, I'm writing that down. How do you spell that?
exactly how it sounds, brother.
I mean, you have crazy people on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
But you know, one of the things that pisses me off is like, oh, you hated The Force Awakens or you hate The Last Jedi because you don't like strong women characters. I'm like, yes, I do. Princess Leia, you got Ripley from Aliens.
My God, Ripley.
Come on.
yeah, Ripley is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's kind of goofy to kind of clump everything into one thing. And again, you know, I mean, I don't know. Zori's comment distracted me a second too because
I just saw it too. I was just reading it too.
You know, I think obviously the reason that the Fandom Menace as a group got together was because they wanted to voice their opinion.
I mean, I think there was, from what I have seen on Twitter, is that the Star Wars Twitter, which can be a very volatile place, is you have crazy people on both ends. So you have some in the Fandom Menace that are like, you know, over the top, and then you have the others on the other side, which I don't know what we call them over there. But they're just as bad as the other side, extreme, if you get what I mean. So it's
I honestly think it's Zori. I hope that you understand this is that this is not a bash against them either, but I honestly think it's just like everything else in life, right? It's the few that give the many
the bad name. Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And let's face it, when it comes to Star Wars, we are Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know if you get that reference, Ro.
Yep.
But we are many.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Little biblical quote, little ghostwriter quote.
And you know, as far as my motto has always been, if you if you respect me, I'll respect you. Period.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't care what label you have. I don't care what it says on your profile.
Mm-hmm.
Fandom menace or I love everything Star Wars no matter what. I don't
Exactly.
really care.
Exactly.
If
It's
you
like
respect me, I'll respect you.
that's the whole thing is respecting one another, and sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. Sometimes people aren't going to meet midway on a discussion.
I was on a Facebook channel that basically was I love everything Star Wars.
Yeah.
And which I was okay with. I'm like, whatever, I'm not there to argue with anyone. I love Star Wars. I love the opinions that people have, whether I agree with them or not. I'm glad they have them. But they posted a very simple question. They said, what was the saddest day of for you as far as Star Wars is concerned? And I responded, the day that Disney decided to make the EU no longer.
That is probably the saddest day. Is that right there?
They booted me from their channel. They suspended me for 3 days.
Really? For saying that?
For improper conduct. I didn't get mean with it. I didn't, I'd like point fingers and say this. I just said, to me, that was a sad day.
Yeah, because there's so many properties that we love. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm a huge Old Republic fan. So anything about the Old Republic is like huge to me. So when they threw that out, it was sad.
Well, for me on the sequel, when I heard that they were making the Disney sequels, I was really hoping that they were going to adapt the story of Gianna and Ben from the EU.
Jason, and all that,
That was fantastic. That was such a fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I read the new Jedi Order books in high school. I mean, they got me through high school. So,
but there's no source material.
Yeah, there's no
source material. Yeah.
It's funny. A while ago, there was the news that Tiki, what's his name? Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
So he's got a story, and it feels very me. That was his quote.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just responded under that. What do you guys think? I'm not that much of a fan. I really don't like his kind of humor or his directing style in Star Wars, et cetera, and I just put it out there. What do you guys think? There's one account that has followed me for many years, and they unfollowed me just because I asked the question.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is
I found it interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, it's like I once had a comment about. The expanded universe because I'm a huge Jason and Jaina fan as well. Because I grew up with them, and I put a comment up on Twitter and I lost a follower because I was saying that I love the EU, which is again something that we can all love and enjoy.
Yeah.
Can I derail the subject for just a second?
Yeah.
Dave, put our seatbelts on?
No. Dave likes Star Wars. Dave likes Star Wars says, hopefully you'll reach 100 soon. Just so everyone's aware who happens to be in the chat tonight, you go to to the Press Play Streaming Studios home channel, hit that subscribe button. When we hit 100, I'm going to put all the public subscribers' names in a hat, and I'll pull it out. And we're going to do a free giveaway to celebrate our $100. So. Or our $100. No.
Freudian slip.
Celebrate our
$100.
So
very nice.
That's where we're going. Zori says that she likes Taika's movies, but she's not sure if his humor is good for Star Wars.
Yeah, see, I like his movies too. I personally do as well, but I don't know unless they're going for maybe a more comedic Star Wars approach for something, like a different genre if we're going for something a bit different. Like, I wouldn't mind Star Wars doing different genres, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally like Star Wars, a sitcom, or Star Wars horror, or Star
horror,
Wars.
Yeah, something like.
Oh yeah, you could do a Sith show that's very horror driven. Easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have read Red Harvest, but that is a nice brutal horror tale that they could use.
Yeah, that would be actually a great topic for one of our Scare of Scuttlebutt quick cuts. Would we be interested in seeing Star Wars branch out into other genres?
Yeah.
I'd really have to think about it. Right now, I would say no. Keep Star Wars, Star Wars.
But who
But
says it can't be?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, you could
like
have
like
horror, but be Star Wars, or a political thriller could be Star Wars.
well, the prequel trilogy was a political thriller. I loved it.
Technically,
I
yeah,
loved that about that.
yeah.
yeah. So that's what
Um,
I'm saying. Like,
or it's a it's a new ranger in the Republic that has to go on a detective style adventure
exactly. Yeah.
bondage
Yeah.
type thing.
hmm
So you could do all
I
that.
almost feel
and
like
wrap it
Andor
up
is
in
going to be
first.
like that.
I'm kind of hoping so, actually.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
know.
it's very much kind of like a James Bond feeling kind of thing. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Like, I think that would.
Absolutely.
Jason Bourne-ish,
Yeah.
Bond-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only with blasters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think Zori and I are on the same page with
Yeah.
Taiki.
I think
Like-
that it could be good.
I think it'd be
Um,
good if they bring in maybe a new genre, like I said.
or if it's used in a similar way to humor's always been used in Star Wars, which is at that
Yeah.
right moment, and it
Right.
doesn't feel pressed. It's just
Yeah.
like we said,
Mhm.
the writing has to be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Writing has to be there.
And I think,
So-
I've heard this said about The Last Jedi that it tried to marvelize Star Wars by bringing in the jokey jokes, like the Yo Mama jokes at the beginning. And
Yeah.
feel the Force. Here's a branch. Oh, I felt it. You stupid. It's a
Yeah.
tree. So all that kind of goofy stuff. I think,
Which is funny, but that little joke right there, okay,
the Yo Mama or the tree.
the
tree.
branch, right?
The branch. Yeah.
Had they done what I said with Luke, and he had done that to her while training, we'd all bought it and been like, "Oh, that's funny. He's trying to teach her a lesson."
Right.
That
Yeah.
it's not a tangible thing, versus him being so damn cynical. But that's just me. Okay.
hmm
Are we sure his movie's still happening? Disney is known for dumping projects and directors.
Well,
According
he
to
just-
him,
Yeah,
He
Yes.
just tweeted, about
Yeah, right.
Finn writing the script, if I remember correctly.
Josh Irwin's got a
Yes.
good one.
Yeah,
good
a heist movie. Yeah.
because they could do a
Yeah.
That was Solo, though.
That was Solo, though.
Yeah.
he said
Sort of.
a good heist movie.
We
I
should
like
talk-
Solo.
I like Solo.
I like Solo.
There
I think
are
it was
good-
great.
There are
But-
good parts of Solo.
Yeah.
Like, the Kessel Run to me is my favorite part of the film.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but
I had problems with Solo, not because of the usual stuff, but the Alden, what's his face?
the actor,
I didn't buy him as Han Solo.
I didn't
That's
either.
just-
that
that's
was
just,
my problem. I didn't buy him as Han Solo.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, like I said, it was fun.
Yeah.
My son said it best.
Mhm.
It was a fun movie.
Chewbacca stole the show, though. I
Oh,
love
Chewbacca was
Chewie
great in
in
that.
Solo.
I
Hope you're having
also
a great
like.
day as well, Dave.
Everybody had such a wonderful role to play in Solo except for Solo. Everybody
Exactly.
around Solo was
Like-
fantastic. I loved
Like
it.
Kira was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Lando,
Yeah.
If they had
Beckett.
somebody
I mean,
else
they were all
play-
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's another
Mm-hmm.
hole.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm getting kind of tired of the prequel thing, the jumping back in time. But they could do something, with Woody Harrelson's character and make that heist movie. Would have been fun.
Oh yeah, Beckett.
Oh, here's the first thing that I would have to disagree with on Zori releasing Solo at the wrong time, and I think I will ask Zori to extrapolate on that one. Are you?
What does she mean? The boycott? Is that what she's referencing?
Is she
Yeah.
referencing the boycott? Is she referencing Star Wars fatigue? Is she referencing May versus December? Let's get to the bottom because
do you
I've got
actually-
thoughts.
Do you actually think there's such a thing as Star Wars fatigue?
No.
I don't either.
We have
You
we had Star Wars every week for the Mandalorian. We have Star Wars every week
Yeah.
for the Bad Batch. We're not getting tired of it.
No, exactly.
Well, look here, we got a new one in the chat. Hello.
Hey, Hey, Bellazzora, holla, whoop.
How you doing, Bazora?
Hey there.
I bought a VCR. It was delivered today, and I'm so excited. I love it. I
A
love
VCR. Oh my gosh.
it.
What are you
Oh,
trying? What are you trying to watch that you have to buy a VCR? Bless
oh,
you.
bless you.
Bless you.
Wait,
Thank you.
Zori actually typed it, so
Mhm.
It seems like many people judge Solo based on how they hated the
Yeah,
Last
the
Jedi.
boycott. Yeah.
You know what though? There may be some truth to that.
oh, there's a lot of. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think a lot
Yeah.
of
I
people
think
that
it is
didn't,
too. I
yeah,
think a lot of people that didn't like The Last Jedi didn't go to see Solo.
and that they use that as a bargaining chip, a voting right, if
Like
you will.
when I saw Solo, the theater was practically empty
Right.
when I
Same
went.
here.
So
Well, I was in an area of the country that I couldn't get to a theater to watch it, so I won't tell you
okay.
how I got to watch it, but I got to watch it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Scooby Doo. That's so
Oh
cute.
yeah, Bad Batch season finales tomorrow.
I know.
what do you
Yeah.
guys? Okay, so I don't want to be the out in the room. What are you guys thinking about the Bad Batch so far?
I like it.
I am loving it.
Yeah.
I
It's
I
okay.
don't have a problem with it. You know, obviously there's some slow.
there have been some
episodes, but-
slow episodes, but I like so far. Like I have liked the past 2 episodes a lot.
And for me, it has to do with how the Empire is being portrayed during that period of transition.
Yes,
That
like
to me
that's
is
been
very interesting.
love
That
I
has
love
been
all
the-
that stuff.
that to me has been the best part of the Bad Batch is
Yeah.
seeing the early days of the Empire and like
don't
seeing how the TK troopers,
Right.
yeah,
you know.
those are cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I will say this. Don't see me as bad, but it didn't stay the Bad Batch for very long.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what
And
you're
I
saying.
think
see what you're saying.
And I think they leaned too heavily into that early on versus allowing you to be more invested
yeah.
in the Bad Batch first. And it kind of threw me off.
hmm
Dave says he honestly liked the Solo movie. We all agree. We liked
Yeah.
it. There's
Yeah,
parts of
yeah,
it
we
that
like it. There's parts of it
Yeah.
that are really good. Yeah,
Like I said, for me, it was everybody was great except Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except the actor.
So let's see here. Zori says she needs to finish it. Got involved watching Loki, so she needs to circle
Yeah.
back. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
yeah. I saw
Um,
Loki.
By the way, to get with the program, I like Solo. I went in expecting to be bored, but left the theater pleasantly surprised.
That's good.
Yeah.
And for me, I like Woody Harrelson a lot, so that was a definite plus.
Yeah.
You know.
Beckett, I think, is one of the shining points of that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is Beckett.
Yep. And like Rose said, Chewie was just phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
My God. Yeah.
Chewie's perfect in that movie.
Well, Chewie's just Chewie. I mean,
I mean, let's be honest. We could have a whole movie about Chewbacca, and we'd all love it.
just
Absolutely.
growling with no
Yeah.
hesitation. We'd all be all right with it.
Yeah.
We'd all be all right with it.
Exactly.
So, all right, guys. Well, we have crossed the hour mark. Do you have anything else on this that you would like to say?
Well, I'm trying to think. I think the Marvel TV shows haven't really gone into it as much.
No,
Maybe.
and I
No.
heard a lot of people complaining about Loki and the fact that they said that he maybe they portrayed him as being bisexual or whatever. I'm like, well,
But that's not
it's
that's
Loki.
Loki. I mean, if you read the myth of Loki, yeah, he's.
Right.
I mean, he sleeps with a horse. I mean,
Yeah, just so he can give it to his father to make him.
Yeah,
alive.
exactly.
It's so funny. Oh.
That's okay. We're here.
It's all right. That's all right, Belzoro. We appreciate you. We try to put out something every Thursday night.
Mhm.
So, and we generally go on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. that complaint about Loki is an example.
Yeah,
of being
exactly.
hypersensitive.
Exactly.
And again, I think that's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Lando was the best part of Solo. Lando was great in Solo. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. Now that was Glover, correct?
Yeah, Glover.
He was great in that. So
not Danny Glover.
Is he reprising his role for the new Lando project?
That was going to be my question. I haven't. I've heard that that's the case. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I mean,
yeah, we haven't heard.
He's a big Star Wars fan to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to circle back to something that was said earlier because I just remembered something. I had recently heard an interview with Quentin Tarantino because we were talking about the times, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said, and this was I found this very interesting. He said the 1980s were so concerned with putting people on screen that you liked that movies became very sterile. Okay. In other words, he said if you looked at movies of the 70s, it would have been okay for there to not be a true hero or for that hero to die at the end of the movie, and it still could have been considered a good movie. But in the 80s, for the most part, you know, if someone was having had a bad character arc through the movie, by the end of the movie, they were justified and they were happy-go-lucky. And I started thinking about it. I was like, you know, for the most part, he's kind of right there. He said, and he goes, the movies that are being released right now are 1980.5. Because the 90s went darker and had more freedom to do other things. And now where they're back into that sterilization period of, hey, you got to kind of be careful about who to not offend anybody. I also heard another gentleman who's a scholar, and I wish I'd wrote the name down because this
is he also a gentleman?
Should be, I think. Maybe. I don't know by whose definition, but I think that you'll both like this this definition. He said most things there's a 40-year. He said there's an old saying that's that says there's a 40-year gap in most civilizations, to where your first generation will build the wealth, your second generation will spend the wealth, and your third generation will squander it. He said we are right now in that 40-year third generation in Hollywood.
Yeah,
that's a Henry Ford quote too.
Okay.
From shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves. The first generation is poor, second generation builds the wealth, and then the third generation squanders it, so they're back to shirt sleeves.
Shirts,
right?
Yeah.
So same theory, and he went into how, you know, the Hollywood moguls who built everything, and then how they moved everything, and now how all the writing and everything that was done by the innovators, the last group of innovators like Lucas and Spielberg and so forth. Now everyone is instead of being innovators, they're corporate minded.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's going to reverse that role and start over, and that's when we'll start getting past all this and into heavier stuff. I think, anyway. That's just me. Me too, Zori. Yeah. Me too.
If I can chime in here with a final thought, you know, I just started watching or rewatching Loki with my son. He had not seen it yet, and we're enjoying the hell out of it. We watched 3 episodes just tonight before hopping on here, and Mobius basically says what we're talking about. Most things in life suck, and everything gets messed up eventually.
Yeah,
very true.
This is true.
Very true.
But you want to know here's my light at the end of the tunnel. If it wouldn't have been for all this crap, we'll say, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to each other right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what, you know, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel that's more than just another train coming our way.
Yeah.
You know,
Go
the
ahead.
one thing I think it's like growing pains. You know, like right now we're like in a cinema growing pain.
Yeah.
And
That's a good way to put it.
as you know, everybody gets through them.
Hmm.
And after that growing pain, you get, perfection at the end. So,
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. All right, so Ro, you got anything coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so we just dropped the Joker episode. If you guys love the Joker, we love to do a deep dive. Josh Sith Care Bear was on it with us with Chantal, and we did a deep dive episode on the Joker. It was really great. I'm glad people are enjoying it. We just dropped it this morning.
Fantastic.
I do want to say to your people in the chat, I did this with Jedi Temple Archives, so I got a couple of like little collectibles and things like that we love to give away. But
you guys always give away cool stuff. You
thank
really
you,
do.
Thank you, Alan. If you want to make up some sort of contest or something, I would love to like raise awareness first of all to our friend Dominic Pace. He has gone.
Is he all right, by the way?
He's fine, but he's
okay.
He's let's just say he's ill. He had to stop his tour, his nationwide tour, and he's doing good. But he said
he's okay though, like no
okay.
In the hospital or anything. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to go too into detail.
But okay.
He needs our good vibes. In other words.
Okay. All right.
But I want to be able to, Alan, if you can think of a question or something, a little trivia. I wanted to see if I can give one lucky winner, one of your followers, a support small business tour gecko from last year's tour.
Ooh, okay. Nice. This is very nice.
Dominic Pace, the bounty hunter.
Yep.
It's an XL. It's the only one that I have left from that tour from 2020, and it's got his dates on the back. Support local
very
businesses.
Nice.
So
very
it's
cool.
Got the list of where he stopped last year. But obviously, Dominic has been such an amazing ambassador for Star Wars fans. He's gone, he did it 2 years in a row, and he's just a fantastic guy. So if you think of some sort of little contest, I will be happy to send this out to.
Are you wanting to do this? Are you wanting to do this right now?
We don't have to do it right now, but at least if we can get your show rolling. You can do whatever. Subscribe to your show.
I could
get to 100.
I was about to say, if you're willing to give that shirt away right now, I have a question, and the first one who gets the answer in the chat can have that shirt if that's what you were wanting to do.
Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Karate Kid. Karate Kid. Here's the question, chat. Is everybody ready? Get your fingers ready. What kind of car does Johnny Lawrence drive in the new Cobra Kai?
Oh, that's a good one.
Before it was totaled. Anybody? All right, so here's what we're doing is I'm looking at the clock right now. There's 15 seconds. If no one answers, we'll hold off and we'll do the same thing next week.
And obviously, please keep Dominic in your prayers.
Absolutely.
Send him
messages. Will do.
And like
I'll send him a message.
Wrong one, sorry. Wrong one, babe. Wrong one, Zori. All right.
They're trying to get that shirt.
Well, they're both right, but that's his second car. Because the first one got totaled.
Gotcha. The first one got totaled. Okay.
Yep, and I even gave that clue.
So I'll have it right here, ready to pack and deliver whenever you give me the word.
Okay.
Whoever gets it right.
All right, guys. So the first car he had was a Trans Am. Firebird. She got it before she handed in before I said it. I'll let her have it. Zori Blissful. The Firebird.
Congrats.
That's correct.
Awesome. So Zori, go ahead and DM your mailing
Yes,
instructions
Zori, that is
to
correct.
Alan,
The Pontiac Trans Am Firebird.
and then
Mm-hmm.
or me over at the Scare Scuttlebutt podcast, and we'll send that right out to you.
Yeah, Zori, definitely. You can either my handle on Twitter, which is actually in the comments. You can private message me there with your address, or you can go directly to podcast and let him know, and we'll get and he'll get that sent out to you. That was really cool. I appreciate that, sir. That's a lot of fun.
No problem. No
We
problem.
might have to do some more of that type of thing in the future. Mars like, oh, she knew this because we laughed about it so much. I wouldn't have let her win anyway, but that's that's a different story. All right, Amanda, do you have anything that you would like to talk about? You got coming up?
This Saturday on my Twitch channel, which is in the link at Galaxy Queers on Twitter, we are having a live discussion on Twitch on Knights of the Old Republic and the Age of the Old Republic. So if anybody wants to come in and tune in that, it will be 3 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m. British Standard. I have a lot of Brits on my show, so we go with the British time.
Cool.
So if anybody wants to join and talk about Knights of the Old Republic, we're going to be talking about Revan, Malik, everything. So
nice.
Awesome.
A lot of fun.
Yep.
Anything else, Mr. Scarafro?
Yeah, actually, tomorrow night, if you guys want to get to know a whole bunch of the Red 5 members, we're going to hang out live on YouTube. It's going to
Are you doing a Red 5 Live again?
Red 5
Yeah.
Live tomorrow, Friday night at 7:30 Central Time. I don't know who's going to show up. There's a whole bunch, we've got like close to almost 30 podcasts in the network. So anybody can show up at any time. We're going to go whenever. So just get to know us. We're just going to kind of chat, talk to our people in the chat, and then just say hello.
7:30 you said?
7:30 Central Time.
Okay,
8:30.
8:30.
Not on the Scare channel, on the Red 5
on
channel.
the Red 5 channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
All
right. Are you going to be posting that information on Twitter tomorrow so I can? Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to tune in tomorrow then.
And then just look for the hashtag Red 5 Live.
Okay.
Number 5. So. But give us a follow over at the Red 5 account too. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna put you guys in the green room. Hang around for just a second, okay?
Okay.
Excellent.
Awesome.
See you in a few minutes.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I know tonight's topic was a little heavier than we normally do here. We like to keep it light and fun, but it's something I felt like we need to talk about. And my guest brought up some great points and kind of educated me a little bit. So maybe some of my biases have been broken as well. And that's a great thing. So anyway, we'll be back next Thursday. We're going to be doing a lot more fun, and as normal, we'll be laughing and cutting up and I want to send a word out to Shanty, who's been our guest on the last few weeks. She was supposed to be on tonight, but she said she had a personal issue she had to take care of with her family. So hope all is well there and that all goes well. So as we like to say here on the Press Play Streaming Studios, after you hit the subscribe button, after you hit the like button, leave a comment. Be sure to remember that once we hit that 100 subscriber mark, we are going to do a free giveaway. But as we always like to say, once you've done the big three, grab your favorite drink, grab a snack, sit back, and press play. God bless. Have a great night, everybody.